Good morning, Las Vegas. It's Zandra Pollard with It's Where I Am. Today, my guest is Natasha McCree, and she is the CEO of the Love CEO Institute. Hey, we need to learn how to love ourselves. I think we forget about us sometimes. I know I do. I'm running that hamster wheel, as she says, and I forget that I need to love me too and love me first. So today, here she is, Natasha.
Hey,
Hey,
Sandra.
thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's so wonderful to have you here because I was in your workshop learning or relearning how to love
Hmm.
myself again. And I
Yeah.
want to thank you for letting me be myself again. So, so tell us about your workshop. Tell us how we can get back to love with ourselves.
Man, when everything's, 2020 birthed a lot of stuff.
Mm.
And I know when the pandemic first happened, started asking God, I was like, look, what do the women I serve need the most? And I thought about self care because there was a lot of stress, still is, that was happening, but that was happening even long before 2020.
Sure.
And so I took a lot of the concepts that I've been teaching my clients because whenever I'm coaching, it's not simply about getting a task done or doing something. And I packaged it into a 5-day workshop. And the reason I did 5 days, I was like, oh my Lord, I know my, ambitious women aren't going to want to do 5 days, but I did little bite-sized chunks, 30 minutes. And it
Mm.
was so that we could retrain and create a muscle memory of giving ourselves time on a daily. So people who've gone through the workshop, it kind of infuses like, oh, I can do 30 minutes a day for myself. So the workshop really it unpacks the myths of self-care, shows you how real self-care for ambitious women. And what I mean by that is the different elements of self-care and the foundations of self-care, so that self-care can become a lifestyle. We can create a culture of self-care versus just something that happens because we're rewarding ourselves, or something that happens when we're completely empty.
Right.
So this workshop gives you the tools to be able to make it a lifestyle and create your own blueprint, like your personalized blueprint. So that's what I love, that you take what you've learned and then you personalize it. That's my
Yeah,
favorite part.
because a lot of women, as you were saying, like we feel guilty if we do
Yeah.
something for ourselves because we feel like, oh, I need to do this for the children first. The children come first. But
Hmm.
what are you gonna do if you're depleted, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the best example of mom showing the kids how she takes care of herself, and
Absolutely.
mom showing the kids that mom's a priority.
You know,
Your your
you
kids are
I,
gonna
I just want to
learn.
say because they're listening and they need to know when I walk through the door, don't bombard me.
Mm-mm.
Give me a few minutes to come, get myself together. Give me
Let
10,
mama breathe.
15 minutes. Yes. And I'll be a better me for you.
You will. And you're training them. Do we want our kids when they're in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s putting everyone else before them?
Right.
Kids
Now,
learn from what they see.
can you be too greedy? Can you love yourself too much?
You can be greedy because that's a whole nother subject, but loving yourself, you can never love yourself too much.
Okay. Okay.
You can never love yourself too much because the reason you're infusing, like you first, oxygen mask first, is so that you have the overflow, because then you're not going to even give your love to the fullest. We're giving out a scarcity, we're giving from a place of anger because we feel obligation you
Right.
know and you want to be in a space where you're like, I'm all loved up, so whoever comes to my world, that's gravy, and what I'm giving out is abundance, it's
Yes.
overflow you know
I love it. So, your workshop, you just finished one. When is the next one?
So I have been doing this workshop every quarter for a while, and I found that there were women who, in between the workshops, really wanted to get in on it. So The workshop that I just did was my last workshop in real time. But what my team and I are doing is
Okay.
are going to put the workshop together for people who want to take it outside of any constraints. They can take it anytime and they'll
Okay.
still get the support. They'll still get the email support. They'll still get the workshop guides and they get to take it on their own time. So that will be up within the next 4 weeks.
And so this workshop is primarily for women. Yes.
Yes, that's who I serve. Now, guys can take it and they're gonna learn some stuff, but I'll probably be talking about, the women and the kids and the stuff that we as women go through.
Yes. But also, don't you have another workshop for CEOs in particular? Or what is
I
the breakdown?
coach. The way it works is I coach my my clientele are women. However, I do have male clients. So private coaching, I do have some male clients for private coaching, but I found that I wanted to be the solution that I was looking for, or the tools or the support that I was looking for back in the day when I didn't take care of myself, when I was dog tired, when I was on the hamster wheel, when I questioned myself, when I doubted, didn't even know how to love myself. I wish someone was there to give me some tools that made life a little easier. And
Okay.
so that's what I've created, the Love CEO Institute. And Love CEO Institute has now been refashioned to complete private coaching, or the Love CEO Academy, which really increases your love intelligence, is our foundation, love intelligence, as
Okay.
well as
I like that.
it's beautiful. So we have, loving yourself, designing your life. It's all a network of women who are on that same track. And I love it because there was so much lacking of love intelligence in this world. And so now I've developed this system that I can teach and other people can teach.
So in the workshops, you have the one-on-one, but you
Mhm.
also the other group one, is that a peer support group or is it you and several other people?
It's it's all 3.
Okay.
And the reason I did it this way, I considered it a love intelligence gym. When you go to the gym, you can go to the gym and do your own workout on the treadmills. You can go to the gym and do weights. You can get classes. You can do a hip hop class, or you can get private coaching. And
Sure.
so I know that we all need different things in our life. And this isn't a cookie cutter situation. So they have access to my library that has teachings and talks and master classes that cover a range from boundaries to pleasure and dating and self-love. And then we have guest experts who come in once a month, and they'll cover, because I believe we need to look at ourselves completely. We can't just compartmentalize ourselves. And
Mhm.
so they'll cover different topics, whether you want to improve your marketing for business or finances or your home sanctuary, to look at yourself as a whole person. And then we have the peer group masterminds. So that is peer led. My objective is to build leaders. So the mastermind is peer led. However, it is it's like a gym. You have options.
So tell our listeners how they can find you and be a part of these wonderful, wonderful, loving workshops.
Oh, the loving workshops. I am Natasha McCrae on every platform. That's in M as in Mary, CCREA. And the company is Love CEO Institute. And if you find us on Instagram, one of the things that we do is we make sure all of our followers have information about upcoming workshops and what's going on in our world, and sharing great information. So it'd be a great hub for you to be a part of if you follow us on Instagram, or go to natashamccrae.com, and that'll take you to everywhere. It'll take you everywhere.
Well, I'm already a follower. I want to thank you for being here. And I need my listeners to please make sure that they find Miss Natasha McCrae because we
Yeah.
all sometimes forget to love ourselves and we have to, or we don't at all.
Yeah, we
And we've got to
learn.
get back to that place. So I want to thank you for sharing your love
Thank
with us.
you. Thank
And
you.
I will stay, informed and in touch.
Likewise. I love everything you're doing. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Natasha McCray, y'all. Bye. Now I want to bring my next guest on, and she is simply marvelous. This is Miss Zanita Ollard. Hey, I love your
Hi.
name, by the way.
Oh, oh. Say that again.
Zanita
Oh,
Ollard.
I was just playing around with my gadgets. Okay. So Natasha's gone.
She is gone. She gave us all of her love information and how we can find her. And I was letting our listeners know that we have to always remember to love ourselves.
Yes, yes,
And with
definitely.
loving ourselves, it's also important to remind others to love themselves as well, which is why you're here. You introduced me to Natasha. Her workshops were wonderful, but I know that for you and I, we got to a better place of love.
Yes, yes, yes,
Uh,
definitely.
we had this is my sister, everyone, in case you don't know by the name. Um, this is my sister, and growing up, we didn't always love ourselves or each other. So we went on a recent trip to Mexico, and we did this ritual, and we gave up all of our past negative stuff, and we made a bond to stay in love with one another from here on out.
Yes.
Yes.
N-
So, with loving yourself, Zanita, I know you've taken the workshop. Can you tell us
Oh,
what you're working on now?
well, definitely. Natasha's workshop is amazing, and I've always wanted to participate with her. I've been participating with her here, and I have a meeting with her there. But the workshop for the week really solidified the importance of really connecting with myself and how I live in a bubble.
Oh, wow.
She mentioned, getting out of your bubble and being held accountable for the things you want to achieve. And that so resonated with me
Hmm.
because I have all these things I'm thinking about, and it's like always in my head. And I have all these scripts that I've written, and I've only let you read them.
Yes, Zanita is a script writer and she has some great stuff. What's going on with the scripts? Because I know you're focusing in on that. What's going on?
Yeah, well, recently I submitted a piece, a short to Filmco. So I'm excited about that. I just decided to get everything out of the cupboard. Everything's okay. I worked on it and I submitted it. At least I'm moving forward. And
Exactly.
that's what life's about. It's like I think I'm always holding, like I want things to be perfect, and then I just never let it fly. So, there's always going to be more opportunities. I have more things to work on, and just to grow
Right. But step by step, little by little, right?
step by step.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's something to remember.
Yes. We can't do it all at once. So,
Yes, it's easy to see the big dream, the big goal, but yeah,
but
reminded
that
to step by
persistence
step.
and just step by step getting there, you know what I mean? That's success. To me, that defines success.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm really looking forward to because I joined Natasha's uh, um, Love CEO Sanctuary.
Hmm.
So I'm committed to being a part of that. And I think that's really going to help me, one, to be accountable. And like you said, take the step by step, and then just realize the bigger thing at the end of the road.
Hmm. Hmm. And always focusing in on you. Okay, I also want to ask you, what are some other ways that you are self-loving? I know traveling is a big thing for you.
Oh, yes. I love traveling. It's always been my desire to travel. I remember when I was younger, I was supposed to have gone to London um, for what is it, high school exchange, like an exchange program.
Oh, yes, yes. Mhm.
But I didn't end up going. So so I was discouraged by that, but I made up for it when I was young, when I got older.
Mhm.
So in 2019, I did a wonderful trip. And I went to Thailand, which was amazing, China, and then I spent like a month and went through France. And I went alone, and it was about 50 days. So during that time, I was like, I started to get a little lonely. So I was like, okay, I'm in this universe. I can't be lonely. Check in. So it
Yeah.
was like constantly checking in with myself because I was going through a difficult time at that moment. And it was a lot of self-love, and
Yeah, talk about loving yourself. 50 days of traveling alone. I was
yeah.
scared to go with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I met a lot of cool people along the process.
Uh,
Um, it was really amazing. But there were times I was by myself too.
mhm.
But it was okay, because it's about I have to love myself before I really connect with other people. And it was just it was just wonderful. It just helped me learn how to listen
Wow.
and to check in with myself and my heart. And so the one thing I want to go back to is when we finally did our trip together in Mexico.
Mhm.
And I mean, I couldn't believe that you haven't traveled that much.
Oh, well, thanks
So,
for letting all of our listeners know. Yes, it was my first time going out of the country. Everyone always says, really? Yeah, really. So what? I'm going out the country again next year.
well, now you got the travel bug because
I got my first stamp.
oh my God, I can't believe, I know we think similar in some ways. I was like, she just needs to go somewhere. And I know is going to want to travel all
But
the
that
time.
was that nudge, like I was talking about earlier. That was that nudge to get someone else to learn how to love again. You know what I mean? So that's something I've taken on that is a self care for me because that was my first time away from my family like that. Even though they kept calling
Oh, they did call.
a lot. But there were times where, I didn't answer the phone. I let them, send a text, I'm okay. And, I had to, reconnect with either myself or you, depending on what was going on, right? And for
Well,
you, since you're throwing business out there, I had to remind you to love yourself in ways in terms of writing or with things that you have written, right?
yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, something about traveling and by yourself or with someone you're connecting with, it's like you can't always run away and hide behind something you're familiar with. And I think, you know, it took us traveling to get away from everything to
Yes.
learn more about each other.
Yes.
That,
Because initially it was you, me, and mom. And honey, I'm gonna let you know when we had our first tiff,
oh,
I couldn't run away from it, right? And if
hmm,
that other person was there, if mommy was there, I would have just like nestled right up under mama and just been like, Mama, Zanita said, and Zanita baby, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have dealt with the issue at hand.
I just wouldn't have talked about it at all.
But yeah,
So,
exactly. So you would have had your way of, you know, disconnecting, and I would have taken my problem and issue to someone else instead of to you. And so we were kind of forced to deal with the issue.
yeah, because it wasn't like, okay, well, I'm leaving back to LA.
Right. You couldn't escape. Right.
So, but yeah, no, that was wonderful. And you just have to connect with each other because it's like we didn't want to have a miserable time the next moment.
Right.
And but I think we knew we had to check in. I mean, we're getting a little older, we have to deal with whatever demons we have between us and realize that you are me and I am you. I mean, like, it's really, actually what that trip made me think of,
What's that?
we deal with phantom personalities.
Okay,
And
explain that.
because, you know, you have an idea of who you think I am, and I have an idea of who I think you are. And
Yeah,
we have all these things, these ideas, but we never talked. We never t- got to connect with each other. And it's like we have assumptions. We make assumptions
right,
about what you may say or what I may do or
right,
what I want. And those assumptions rile up a lot of emotions. And sometimes they're negative because it's like the assumption and the expectation doesn't normally happen because you didn't actually talk to each other or connect about what it is that you want or who we are. So it's like getting rid of those phantom personalities or assumptions of who someone is or who you are compared to someone else, and really talking, because I think largely we just never really talked and connected. I think we finished a conversation before we said a word. Does that make sense?
No, I don't get it.
As soon as you'd walk in the room, you just think, oh, I already know what she's going to say.
Oh,
And you just get
yes, yes,
upset. So it's like, well, then why should I talk? Because
right,
I already know what you're going to say. So it's
right,
like these phantom conversations we have in our head.
yes,
And it's like, even if I said something or you said something, we layer it with what we think we're going to hear. It's so
exactly.
stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I'm not down with this cancel culture. I'm just going to cancel my family out if they say something or do something I don't like. I mean, you know, there are negative things that happen in families where you do have to disassociate, but it's been a common theme that I'm seeing on social media. If I'm upset, I'm just going to cancel everyone out and be by myself. Sometimes
Mm.
you have to work through those things to get to a better spot. And I'm a witness. Hallelujah and amen. So, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know? How can they find you? Are you giving out any social media handles? What's going on?
Well, actually, Zanita Bonita, ZANETA BONITA. Um, it is my handle for Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm working on that Instagram, trying to catch up with these millennials in the 21st century. So trying to trickle things in and doing all my hashtags,
Hmm.
and also just connecting with self and connecting with your sister. I just want to say I had amazing time. Like, we had to have that trip together.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And it's really defined well, like how we're going to like move forward, because I think so often in families, especially when there's just two sisters or maybe two brothers, there's always these polar opposites that the family identifies.
Right.
But
That's the smart one, and she's the
yeah,
fun one.
that's the fat
Right.
one, that's the skinny one. Oh,
Okay.
look, I'm the blonde one and you're the dark-haired one.
Yes. The blonde and the brunette. Yeah. Stop doing that, family. It's not
Exactly.
good. Don't compare.
So, but when we get away, we actually find out how similar we are, and we
Also,
don't
amen.
have to hold on to those characteristics that are defined by us since we were like two.
Born. Yes. Right.
And exactly. And I didn't know, I looked at sisters who were like in their 90s, and they still carried a lot of that crazy energy. And I was like, oh no, I cannot live like this and have
Right.
this negative energy with my sister until I'm 90. No.
Right. Let it go, people. Let it go.
Yeah. So I just want to say, like, of course, growing up, you were my first friend,
Aw.
my first best friend. And, we'll be together until, you
Death
know,
do us part.
exactly.
And I still may be around.
Oh, haunting me. No, just kidding.
Okay. But I just want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your story and sharing, your involvement with Natasha's workshop. And
And I'm
I'm,
looking forward to more.
oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's more to come. So keep listening, everyone. My YouTube channel and my website is the same. It's whereiam.com. Look me up. There's more shows there and there are more to come. So thank you, 91.5, for tuning in. I'm here every second Saturday of the month at 8:30 a.m. Thank you. See you next month. Bye.